What caused such a spike?
Well, it is an impressive spike, as you said. So it's a spike of 843,000 people who signed up to receive unemployment benefits in the month of April. But what's particular about this rise is that it only concerns people who've signed up for full unemployment benefits. And in France, that's called Category A. Now, there are other categories, Category B, Category C, and those are for people who have some work but don't work full time. And actually, what's caused this rise, what's particular about this rise, is that it's mostly people who are simply switching categories. So this increase in category A is coupled with a decrease in the other categories. So actually, three-quarters of those 843,000 people were actually already on benefits prior to April. So these aren't necessarily new people who are signing up, but they're people whose previous work had dried up, or people who were on short-term contracts that then ended during the lockdown period.
And how worried is the French government?
Well, it is worrying. Yes, no. But the point is that this is a record number. It is the highest number of people who are seeking unemployment benefits since records began in 1996. But the problem lies less with the fact that people are moving into unemployment, but that they're not moving out of it at the other end. So if you imagine that in any given month, of course, people will sign up for unemployment benefits, but there will also be people who get that contract, who clinch that job, and who no longer require unemployment benefits. So there's a certain flow to these numbers, and it's the coronavirus pandemic that has frozen that flow, and that's the problem here. So businesses simply aren't making new contracts, businesses simply aren't hiring. And the number of new hires in France, in the country, has reached an all-time low. And so it's that that's worrying the French government. Now, unsurprisingly, the majority of people who lost their jobs, who sought these unemployment benefits, are people whose jobs were directly impacted by the lockdown measures here in France. So people who work in bars and restaurants, people who work in the tourism and hospitality sectors, in arts and culture, etc. And so, of course, the hope is that as France moves out of its lockdown period and tourism starts to revive in the country, those people will then be able to find jobs again.
We'll see. It all depends on what the Prime Minister has to say once he speaks. Catherine, thank you very much for that, Catherine Bennett there.